place in Minnesota yesterday occurred as a result of a larger, sinister, left-wing movement.
These vehicle rammings are domestic acts of terrorism.
This was an act of domestic terrorism. These were, it appears to be, paid agitators.
This is a woman who was in severe crisis. She lived a very sad and very chaotic life.
It is clear that she tried to use her vehicle as a weapon, mow over an ICE agent.
A huge SUV with a lunatic woman who guns the gas pedal.
When you point a car at somebody, it's no different than pointing a gun. And when you step on the gas, it's the same as pulling the trigger.
I find it, well, I don't find it interesting. Right now, it's pretty common how if you get killed by the police, you end up getting killed twice. First, they kill you, and then they send the media to kill you a second time with that character assassination. It's unfortunate we live in a day and age in which everyone's death that's a part of a cause or that can be mobilized for a cause just become a tribal rallying cry for how evil and wicked it was or how justified and necessary it was. When I see this video that's gone viral and all the country is talking about it, during my law enforcement days, I watched tons of videos of police shootings as part of, officer safety and training. When I saw this video, it's just another video in the line of police officers doing what they do. Except if it goes big enough, then they send the conservative media to go and assassinate your character, to assassinate your personhood. There is no talk, even by the first lady, press secretary with the cross around her neck, who once told another woman who asked her a question, the White House briefed that was a stupid question. After that, I stopped watching her because I was disgusted that someone would wear a cross around her neck and speak that way. But either way, they send the media at you to kill you twice. This is just a routine shooting in the umbrella of law enforcement. Even police agencies like the police chief out of Chicago that condemned this shooting. I'm sure there have been shootings in the history of Minnesota with a moving car, a fleeing suspect. I mean, cops shoot people in the back, But because this has gone viral, people take sides because now their politics override common sense, right? So this shooting will be cleared. This shooting is technically legal, but like many police shootings, is absolutely not moral, not necessary. Shooting a vehicle coming at you isn't going to stop the vehicle from coming at you. Remember in the police academy, retired police chief says there is never a scenario that justifies shooting a moving vehicle because that vehicle still has momentum. You could pop the driver in the head, but the vehicle is still moving. I remember I had a debate with an old police officer colleague. He was one of those old school guys who believed in chasing suspects at any means necessary. So I told him, well, what if the suspect runs over a woman pushing a stroller? And it's like with ravenous face, he's like, absolutely. And I'm like, okay, well, what if the woman pushing a stroller is your daughter and that baby is your grandkid? So my mindset is you can always catch them tomorrow, and jeopardizing public safety for the sake of catching the bad guy like you're catching a slave is ludicrous. Because with these police shootings that go back to Mike Brown, who's the young man that set it all off with attention? The one that George Zimmerman murdered, Trayvon Martin, right? All those shootings, all these things, before the days of digital media and phones, all the things that the cops got away with and continue to get away with. I remember my old sergeant told me when he became a police officer, he remember how it's like as these, I don't know, people start confessing things as they get older. You know, I'm a rookie cop. He's like, yeah, man, we took this black kid. He was a skinny kid in Miami, and his sergeant held the black kid by the ankles and dipped him in the river. That way he could speak to. He could give up some information that he could snitch because the rules of the street is no snitching. But he was like, yeah, we can't do that anymore. So when I see videos of cop shooting a moving vehicle, that's just routine. It's immoral, but it's legally justified. But just because it's legally justified in the court of man, and Trump's not going to let anything happen to Trump's administration is not going to let anything happen to this officer and ICE and his agenda. You see how they sent all the Goonies, Fox News, and all the conservative media to hypnotize and tell people what they're viewing, even though what I'm viewing is a cop could have just easily stepped out of the way. You got her license plate, you know where she lives. But I've had many of those debates. Immoral, because this woman, Renee Good, right? Was she not also made in the image of God? Um, that's one thing I despise about the conservative party, which is supposed to be the party of Christianity, but they don't speak Christian talk. There's no recognition that this woman was made in the image of God, that this woman was somebody. Even if she was a member of ISIS, she was made in the image of God. She was an image bearer. You don't have to drink the Kool-Aid of someone's political views to recognize that God loved them, and we ought to love the brethren as well. The brethren according to the sons of Adam.
Officer, I think justifiably shooting her in the face.
It's time for Americans to say enough. And if you get in the way of the government repelling a foreign invasion, you're going to end up just like that lady did.
Yeah, foreign invasion, y'all. We're being invaded now. So, fun fact, I learned a couple days ago that J.D. Vance in 2016, 2020, tweeted that Donald Trump is the American version of Hitler, or he's an American Hitler. That's what J.D. Vance tweeted back in 2020. And now he is Donald Trump's vice president of the United States. J.D. Vance, he wrote a book about how we should all focus on our commonality, whether you're black, white, Latino, et cetera, et cetera. But that version of J.D. Vance doesn't exist anymore because he, like many that run for political office, are opportunists. They join whatever party they're in, whether it's Democrat or Republican or in between. They drink the Kool-Aid and they do the party's bidding. So what ends up happening with these media talking heads, it just feeds into the depravity of man. Now, if you've listened to my YouTube videos, you know I despise the Republican Party and the Democratic Party equally. It don't matter who's in the White House, they're always doing the bidding of their party. But let us be reminded that our party is the kingdom of heaven. John the Baptist says, the kingdom of heaven is at hand. Jesus came preaching, the kingdom of heaven is at hand. And when he went and ascended and left the Holy Spirit that came at Pentecost, rather, then the kingdom of heaven is in you. It's easy to get distracted by what's ever going viral at the moment, right? The Black Lives Matter wave in the last 10 years with back-to-back police shootings, and yeah, with the um, volume of media coverage, it seemed like, man, there is a war on black people. But at the same time, there always was, and there always will be. But then it doesn't necessarily just sit on black people. Um, what many people don't realize, whether you're Democrat or Republican, it's really a war on non-rich people, non-rich, non-privileged people. Um, American empire is a dying empire, and I think all these immigration and all of these distractions to create a third party enemy while the nation's pillars buckle, while we don't focus on inflation and stagnant wages, um, is the strategy. You know, these people are playing chess, and we don't even know how to play checkers. I haven't studied sociology. I haven't studied political science, but it's a science to what and how these people choose to um, almost hypnotize, like mass psychosis, with what they choose to cover and the verbiage they choose to use to arouse and incite rage for whatever side that they are batting on. For that being said, that's my time. Love somebody, forgive somebody. Out.